We got the drum line out for Robin. Robin made a sale today. Got the drum line out for her. If I tell a story, I gotta have a drum line. Simple enough. What are you doing? She's interrupting the story. Drums, please. If you want to tell a story, you gotta have drums. Come on. Excuse me. If you're going to tell a story, you gotta have drums. How you doing? Robin made a sale today. All right. Yay, Robin. Yay, Robin. That's what it is. You gotta wait for the story. Vishen Lakiani, the founder of Mindvalley. Not only was this guy the Amazon book god, but he had the #1 book on Amazon, Keys to Unlocking the Extraordinary Mind. Now, double-edged sword. I try not to read other people's stuff. I take the Dolores Cannon approach to that. I don't want their information to cloud with mine, but I do like their teachings. I'll listen to that. That's something you can always go back and make reference on. Reading their books. That's what it is. Anyway, Vishen tells a story, I believe at the beginning of Jose Silva Mind Control Masterclass. Vishen was a telemarketer. he had the worst telemarketing job you could ask for. He was selling some kind of package to attorneys. Now imagine the no's that you get from interrupting attorneys during a busy day. But he had to have a job. So, telemarketers selling packages to attorneys. And what he found, and now you can go do the research yourself. It's the meat and potatoes of the story that make the difference. Basically, they would take a section out of the phone book, attorneys, and they would go down the list, calling every attorney, trying to sell them a package, middle of the day. He met some of the rudest attorneys ever, secretaries, you name it. He got frustrated. How you doing? Come on, Daisy. He got frustrated. So, in his frustration, he tried one of these techniques that he's now an advocate for, teacher, founder of Mindvalley. So it's another Jim Quick story, but it's not Quick. It's Lakiani, the founder. He would take the list, run his finger down the list, and let his intuition stop his finger. He would let his observer mind tell him, basically using the Akashic records, on who was going to buy and who wasn't. Pretty quick. Vishen was the #1 salesperson in his office. That's what it is. So, there's your story, Robin. Using divination. Using divination to sell advertising packages or some shit. I can't remember what it was. Doesn't matter. It was a shitty telemarketing job. However, using his intuition and the power of his higher self to let him know who to call and who not. He started noticing when his finger would stop, if he called that person, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I do believe it worked just the same way. If his finger stopped on a name and he called that person and they didn't buy anything, he would call the office above or below it and they would. Simple enough. Using that technique, he made more sales than anyone in the office. That's what it is. So, keys to unlocking this. And then, I mean, those kinds of stories are what lead to Mind Valley authors not only being the Amazon book god, but having the #1 for quite some time. I know as an author, he had a pretty amazing gimmick when I was taking the programs. Something like, if you buy 5 of my books for half the price of something, whatever. He was challenging Harvard. That's the whole point with his second book deal. And, you know, you picking him up for gifts, whatever. He was a book salesman. His own book. Basically, he was challenging Harvard. And I don't know how that turned out. He was challenging people with a Harvard education up against his Mind Valley students. You spend all that money going to Harvard. That's what it is. If you can beat my Mind Valley students. I can't remember what the deal was, but he sure promoted it with his second book. So, however, there's Robin's story. You got drums. You got something to think about how intuition works with telemarketing. That's the thing. I was just talking with someone last night. What you do and who you are two completely different things. Once you balance out what you do with who you are, pretty soon, who you are is what you do. It's not all about the money. That's why you have that energy in the cards currently of authenticity. It's just what it is. I can remember Christy Marie Sheldon with Mind Valley. She had angels bringing her stuff. It's just what she got spiritual gifts too. Simple enough. That's the thing, is when someone asks you how you got something and you tell them an angel brought it to you, they're going to think you're crazy. That's why they're in the think you're crazy land and not a Mind Valley author. It's simple enough. Simple enough. Rough. He barks. He does. That's what he does. He does what he is. He's a dog. He's a dog. All right, that's enough of that. Namaste.